Hi everyone, it's Monique, and I want to go over your third set of slides. It's going to be on forming a new life. So there's a lot of definitions here. You guys can kind of get through those on your own for the most part, but I do want to highlight that there were some things that weren't as clear. So, like sex chromosomes, for instance, are not just limited to XX and XY. We have XXY, XO, XXX, like just a lot of different variations that can happen through like gene mutation and stuff like that. There are other things that we see with like autosomes, which are the chromosomes that are not sex chromosomes. And we see things like Down syndrome or trisomy 13, things like that that can be a result of other gene mutations. So I want you to know that the reason why they're stressing heredity so much in this forming a new life section is because um, it's that, again, that nature versus nurture argument, right? So it's the nature of it all, right? So we look at things like mental health disorders or physical health disorders, like maybe like even diabetes, obesity, schizophrenia, things like that that run in families. Um, even things like temperament, right? Our personality characteristics. So I also want to highlight the fact that the like when you are pregnant, and your baby is growing, the baby goes through three stages. So we have the germinal stage, which is up from conception up until 2 weeks. Another word from conception is fertilization, right? I think your slides say that as well. And this is where you see like a lot of cell division, right? Things are just getting started, but it's happening rapidly, right? And then the next stage is going to be your embryonic stage. This is from 2 to 8 weeks. You're at high risk for miscarriage at this point. Um, so things are very sensitive during this time. That's why they always tell women when they're pregnant, don't tell anybody for the first trimester because you don't know if the pregnancy will actually go full term. So this is when you see major body systems start to form. Okay. And then the fetal stage, this is 8 weeks until delivery. And this is when you see a lot of physical growth, where you can see the perfecting and pruning of body parts and things are going. Even towards the end, like you have like the little things that are happening, like um, eyelashes and eyebrows, right? Or fingernails, things like that. So I do want to highlight what teratogens are. Teratogens are anything that affects the pregnancy, right? And your slides talk about them in terms of like negative teratogens, which are like stress, substance abuse, malnutrition, things like that. The mom's health has a great deal of factors on or influence on the baby's development when they're in utero. Um, Also, dad's health has a good amount of to do with the quality of his sperm. So that's just something to think about. Also, when we monitor pregnancy, that can be done through a ton of ways, ultrasound and blood tests. We always talk about those. Like the ultrasound is going to be the thingy when they take like the images when they put the gel on the mummy's belly and the little proby thing, and you can see it on a screen like what's going on in there. Um, and then blood tests are regularly done, DNA scans, amniocentesis, and CVSs or chorionic villus sampling. So let me just start. Amniocentesis is when they go in with a big needle and they take out some of the amniotic fluid, do some testing. Um, CVS or the chorionic villi sampling is when they go in and they sample some tissue through that. Ambroscopy is another form of testing, and then also umbilical cord sampling, just to see what's going on with the child. And there is something that occurs. I mean, I know your slides go over genetic counseling, but sometimes women are high risk, like if they've either had maybe pregnancy complications in the past, or if they have had um, children prior with certain health issues, or if things run in their family, or things like that. So they're able to receive what's called genetic counseling, where they will sit down with an expert who will help them navigate the pros and cons and risks and benefits associated with having giving birth or going full term or whatever throughout their pregnancy. Um, and they can talk about resources as well, which is great, because sometimes if you know you're going to have a baby and it has a certain predisposition for a certain issue or something like that, you might need resources, right? And it might be like, okay, as soon as this baby comes, I need this, that, whatever, right? So, um, and then also, I want to acknowledge that there are disparities in prenatal care. And we know that not all prenatal care is created equal, even in this country, right? We live in the Northeast, so our prenatal care is pretty good for the most part, but it's very different whether you're going to an inner city clinic in the middle of a hot zone versus um, like a big fancy hospital somewhere in the suburbs. Like your reality is going to be very different in the way that your prenatal care is handled. So I want you to just think about that, take that into account. And I hope that wraps up some of the questions that maybe you guys had or clarifies anything on prenatal care and forming a new life. Alrighty, have a good one.